Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. And of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, who deserve double honors and who rule well. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim out there on the highways and byways, across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity, trying to wake up the remaining hope for the elect. This is Naaman with the DC camp. And what we have here is the Zionist roots of the war on terror. Alright, Israel's policy of covert aggression. Just think of it like when you were little kids, 4th, 5th grade, whatever have you. And, you know, someone throws a rock. Y'all looking to see who it is, but everybody's got their hands behind their back. Like, you know. Basically, that's what we're talking about. And this is what those so-called chosen people, alright, that's what they are very good at. Alright, so let's see if we can make this a little bigger. And this is from Jeff Wrench's channel. It's an old article, but I thought I should bring it out. Because hey, we're tired. The world at large is tired because you see and you just know, hey, people's bullshit gotta end. Alright, they're frauds. More and more people are waking up to that fact. We have been telling you this, alright, because we're the ones, hey, whose identity was stolen. So how do you think we feel? Anyway, let's get into it. It says, until recently, I accepted Israel's self-image as a beleaguered, peace-loving nation in a sea of bloodthirsty Arabs. It says, the idea that this tiny state had imperialist designs seemed ridiculous or ludicrous. It says, but what if, unknown to most people, including Israelis, the world's power elite were using Israel to advance their new world order? Good question, right? But how much of a percentage would you put on those people truly believe? I'm talking about Amalek, I'm talking about, you know, people pretending to be us. How many would you say are truly ignorant of what's going on? Another good question. It says, but what if, unknown to most people, including Israelis, the world's power elite were using Israel to advance their new world order? What if Israel's role were to colonize the Middle East and to become the seat of the world religion? You gotta remember last September, I think it was, where they had all of these, was it last September? Hey, time passes so fast. Salakia. But I remember seeing an assembly of representatives from all the world's religion. I believe it was the Vatican. You know, paying homage to the Pope. To include American representatives from various faiths. Yeah. So you all think everything's a joke, and you know who I'm talking about. Alright, you just think, especially here in America, you just think everything's gonna continue on like, you know. I'm mainly talking to Jake, because that's who's my only importance. Alright. But you're in for a very rude awakening here soon, because you tune in, all right, and you're looking at this as if it's entertainment, you know, like it's a joke. Hey, the joke's gonna be on you very soon here. Please trust me on that. Continuing on, Israel's Sacred Terrorism, 1980 by Livia Rocock, I guess that's how you say it. A 63-page online monograph suggests that this bizarre scenario may not be so preposterous. Rocock's monograph is based on revelations from the personal diary of Moshe Sharat, who was Israel's first foreign minister from 1948 to 56 and prime minister from 54 to 56. According to this diary, which Israel tried to suppress, Israel's image of vulnerability was a ruse. Alright? Israel has always planned to become the dominant power in the region and invented dangers in order to dupe its citizens and provoke wars. We must stop Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. Iran never attacked anybody for centuries. See? These Palestinians, etc., etc., etc. In his diary, Sharet quotes a conversation with Army Chief of Staff Moshe Dayan, everybody's name Moshe, in May 1955. We face no danger at all of an Arab advantage of force for the next 8 to 10 years. Reprisal actions which we couldn't carry out if we were tied to a security pact are our vital lymph. They make it possible for us to maintain a high level of tension in our population and in the army. Without these actions, we would have ceased to be a combative people. Sharet concludes, the state must see the sword as the main, if not the only, instrument with which to keep its morale high and to retain its moral tension. Toward this end it may, no, it must invent dangers. It must invent dangers, and to do this it must adopt the method of provocation and revenge. What is he telling you? It's going to explain. I'm not going to jump the gun. And above all, let us hope for a new war with the Arab countries so that we may finally get rid of our troubles and acquire our space. Wow. People have been saying this for the longest time. Remember, this came out, this article was 2011. Alright. Here's what covert aggression. This policy of reprisals or provocation and revenge was also called covert aggression. The U.S. war on terror is a continuation of it. Essentially, it involves disguising a policy of aggression as retaliation for sham provocations. What did the apostles and elders give you as an example? Disguising themselves as Arabs, going over in other people's territory, alright, shooting up shit, starting shit, coming back across into their own place and saying the other people, they're the ones that started it. Continuing on, for example, Israeli patrols would cross the border to attack Jordanians or Egyptians and then claim the actions took place in Israel. Once attacked, the army pursued the aggressors into enemy territory and wreaked havoc. Ariel Sharon was the leader of a squad, Unit 101, that specialized in these murderous forays. His 1953 raid on the Jordanian village of Kabiyah killed dozens of civilians. to the point that I believe that they assassinated this man just like they did, was it Yitzhak Rabin? Because you remember he fell sick. I think they say he had a stroke and he lingered for a little while. Because what? He began to soften, I guess, to be a good way of explaining it. Simply explaining it. And certain hardliners didn't like that. Just like Rabin. Alright. Let's see where I leave off. In March 1954, on Israeli bus traveling between Eilat and Beersheba was attacked and 10 passengers were killed. The UN Armistice Commissioner, A. Colonel Henderson, said, from the testimonies of the survivors, it is not proved that all the murderers were Arabs. He attributed the attack to terrorist intent on increasing the tensions in the area. Thereupon, the Israelis left the Armistice Commission in protest. This guy saw right through that bullshit. That's what it's telling you. He saw through that bullshit. They couldn't they couldn't take the fact that they had been exposed, and they got up. In June through July 1954, an Israeli terrorist squad blew up many British and American institutions in Cairo. I just thought of something. As another example, I don't know if they have it listed here. Let me look before I leave. Let's see. Yeah, okay. No, they don't. So, let's see. Let me try something here. For those of you that hadn't heard of it, this is going to be the King David Hotel. Happened in 47, or was it 48? I believe it was, yeah. Oh, 46 it says, okay. Let's see. I thought it was 47 for some reason, I don't know. Anyway, it says the King David Hotel bombing. The British administrative headquarters for Mandatory Palestine, housed in the southern wing of the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, were bombed in a terrorist attack. Okay, there go that phrase. Let me get my little ugly mug out of there. And it says on 22 July 1946 by the militant right-wing Zionist underground organization, the Irgun, during the Jewish insurgency. 91 people of various nationalities were killed, including Arabs, Britons, and Jews, and 46 were injured. Alright. The hotel was the site of central offices of the British Mandatory Authorities of Palestine. So it already, this was the culmination of something that happened almost 30 years prior, and I'm sure you've heard of it. That agreement, all right, that certain countries, including Britain, to steal the land of Israel. Yeah. All right, that agreement was made in 1917 during World War I, and this was just the beginnings of that taking effect. All right. So here they are trying to again playing psych, like a one of these psychops or psyops, kind of backfired. Anyway, so it says when planned, the attack had the approval of the Haganah, I guess that's how you say it, the principal Jewish paramilitary group in Palestine, though unbeknownst to the Irgun, this had been canceled by the time the operation was carried out. The main motive of the bombing was to destroy documents incriminating the Jewish agency in attacks against the British, which were obtained during Operation Agatha, a series of raids by Mandate authorities. It was the deadliest attack directed at the British during the Mandate era, 1920 through 48. But see, you have to, wait a minute, these are supposed to be allies, right? You got to remember, this was a, oh man, I'm trying to remember, who was instrumental. Oh my goodness. Walter, was it, oh, I said Walter. I believe that was his. Let's look up, let's do something else here. Let's look up the Balfour Declaration, because I don't want to misspeak here. There it is. Let's see. History and impact. Text of the Balfour. Here it is. The Balfour Declaration was a November 2nd, 1917 letter from British Foreign Secretary Arthur James Balfour to Lord Rothschild that made public the British support of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The Balfour Declaration led the League of Nations to entrust the United Kingdom with the Palestine Mandate in 1922. So you'll understand what I'm reading currently. I had to go back. It says the Balfour Declaration was a product of years of careful negotiation. Remember, you got to go back to, what was that cat's name? In the late 1800s. So-called founder of Zionism. What was his name? It says, after centuries of living in a diaspora, which is a lie, again, claiming to be us, alright, the 1894 Dreyfus affair in France shocked Jews into realizing they would not be safe from arbitrary anti-Semitism, they go that word again, unless they had their own country. But we know that's a lie, because what did they choose? They chose two places before they even thought about the land of Israel. Uganda was one, and Madagascar was the other. Alright? Oh boy. Yeah, these people are professional liars and thieves to the nth degree. In response, Jews created the new concept of political Zionism, in which it was believed that through active political maneuvering, a Jewish homeland could be created. But that's not what the prophecy is about. See, that's how you get them. He didn't say the children of Israel will be put back in that land by a Balfour Declaration, alright, or any means of their own. Zionism was becoming a popular concept by the time World War I. I keep forgetting this guy's name. God dog it. Anyway, you can read the rest of this. I'll just put it in the link. Okay, Wiseman. Okay, he was the chemist. That's who I was trying. That's another one I was trying to think of. Chaim Wiseman. I think it was this Chaim, whatever how you say it. Yeah, he had something to do with the vulcanization of rubber process. Let's see. Nahum Sakalau. Yeah, they announced in the Balfour Declaration 2017. Yeah, you can read this on your own, but for time's sake, you know, he gets into the white paper, all that. And here's the Balfour Declaration itself. I have much pleasure Alright, and that's what? Ezekiel 36. And conveying to you on behalf of His Majesty's government the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations which has been submitted to. Alright. Oh, wow. Wow. There's Golda Meir. Oh boy. These people are. Hey, got the wrong one there, hold on. Let's see. Yeah, these people got a lot to answer for, and they will. This is going to be no mercy show to these people, and rightfully so. Alright. That villain victim mentality, that victimhood, professional victims, if you would, is played out. Because everybody sees through it, like this colonel here did. That was beautiful in reading that. I mean, in front of everybody. And he goes on to say, let's see. Yeah, in July, through June, July 54, an Israeli terrorist squad blew up many British and American institutions in Cairo. And I just showed you, or read to you, what happened 8 years prior with, King David Hotels. It's dubbed the Levant Affair. Possibly this was a precursor to the attack on the World Trade Center. So you're looking at what, a good 40 years, because you got to remember in 93 they initially tried and failed. This is when Clinton just, was in his first couple of months, just taking office. And of course it would be from 54, it would be 47 years until it actually happened. Alright, let's see. From the point of view of covert aggression, if terrorism didn't exist, Israel would have to create it. Possibly Israel's security establishment inspired some recent attacks on Israelis. What does this remind you of? 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, about Satan's devices. All right, we are very much aware of them. We're trying to, have been trying to get other people to understand this. All right, these people are evil. They are wicked. He says, remember the sniper who killed 10 Israeli reservists at a checkpoint? If he were Arab, wouldn't he have struck again? Most Arab terrorism is no doubt authentic, but I wouldn't be surprised if at critical junctures Israel's security establishment was behind it. Thank you. Because in most cases, when they, talking about Ishmael, does something, it's in response or in retaliation to something that these motherfuckers did. Just like Jake. Alright? Wow. But you gotta understand that other very valuable weapon of the so-called white man, his media, alright, they're not going to portray it like that. It says most Arab terrorists, oh, never mind, hold up. It says Israeli commentators lament that Israel is not a democracy. They say its security establishment has hijacked the country. One pundit remarked, Israel is not a state with an army, but an army with an affiliated state. They also lament that a culture of corruption, brutality, and immorality pervades the army. Alright, and it goes into the Illuminati. The world's wealthiest families have more in common with each other than they do with humanity. From their perspective, we are useless eaters. Oh, and you're going to find that out in the months to come. For those of you who think, we're entertainment, we're a joke. Okay, like I said earlier, the joke is going to be on you. Alright, it says, in the guise of globalism, they plan to increase and consolidate their wealth and power and reduce everyone else's. The new monetary system, going digital, CBDC. It's about control, people. Control. The heart of the Illuminati's power is the banking and oil cartels. Another aspect of that used to be its secrecy. That's all but gone. It says Rothschild, Rockefeller, but it includes many interlocking cartels like media. What did I say about the media? Pharmaceuticals. You should know that. What happened in the last 3.5 years? All right. Well, let's just say 3. Not quite at half yet. It says pharmaceuticals, defense, illegal drugs, and prostitution. It operates through the world's intelligence agencies and groups like the Council on Foreign Relations, which grooms all U.S. leaders. Yes, yes, yes. Esoterically, the Illuminati is a secret society within another secret society, the Freemasons, who are dedicated to sacrificing mankind to what? Lucifer. Yes, they are Luciferians. All right. All this sounds fantastic because it is kept out of the media and education systems, which are mental caretakers in an invisible asylum. Damn, that's a hell of a way to put it, and it's so very true. Recently, Americans have been recruited to do the grunt work of subjugating Islam. All right. This is not the first time the Illuminati has used the U.S. in this fashion. America was embroiled in World War I to free 1 million British soldiers to conquer Palestine for the Zionists. He just told you what really World War I was about. You got to remember, during that time in the late 1800s, all right, when you read up on, what was his name? Albert Pike. When you read up on Albert Pike, all right, you'll understand. He was heavy into this. All right, his book, what was that? Dogmas. What was the whole title of that book? He told you about their plans of 3 world wars. All right, they had to get rid of the Russian aristocracy. All right, the murder of Tsar Nicholas II and his family. All that was all planned. All right, in order for their plans to work. Yeah, these are some evil motherfuckers. You think of all the bloodshed that they're responsible for, and let's just say the last 100 years. Well, actually 100 and I'm just talking about since America has gotten involved, but because the whole goal, the whole aim was to pull America into that, especially with the banking. And they've been trying to do that for a long time. Thomas Jefferson even spoke about that. But let's just look at the since World War I, all the bloodshed. All right, and it tells you when you look it up. Please do. We encourage you to do so. Since this country's inception, 1776, there has only been 20 years of peace because this country, either through direct or through proxy wars, that's how long this has been going on. All right, yeah. Anyway, America was embroiled in World War I to, we already read that. In the Second World War, the U.S. saved communist Russia's bacon, or was it the other way around? Both communism and Zionism are creations and instruments of the central bankers. All wars are bankers' wars. Repeat after me. All wars are bankers' wars. The uses of anti-Semitism. The uses of anti-Semitism. Wow. The Illuminati has always used anti-Semitism to trick Jews into advancing its nefarious goals. In the Protocols of the Elders, or Learned Elders of Zion, the speaker confesses, and I have the book there, the speaker confesses the Illuminati has wiped out every kind of rule except our own. Nevertheless, it allows attacks on its plan for world domination in order to create anti-Semitism. It says they allow. Alright? It says anti-Semitism is indispensable to us for the management of our lesser brethren. From childhood, Jews are taught that they are disliked for no rational reason, and Israel is insurance against other holocausts. This attitude dehumanizes their opponents and obviates the need for genuine self-criticism. Often the question is not, is something true or false, right or wrong, but is it good for the Jews? Traumatizing people and convincing them that irrational fiends threaten their survival is an effective form of mind control. Such people will throw morality and reason to the wind and, if necessary, become savage, mindless killers themselves. They are easily exploited by forces that may not be Jewish at all, that may be anti-Semitic and plot their destruction. Now the Illuminati is using the same tactic on Americans. The Mossad's fingerprints are all over 9/11. Apparently, Israel's Zim container lines moved their 200-man office out of the World Trade Center the week before, and no Israelis died in the attack. And it gives you a reference, all right? It says 7 of the supposed Arab hijackers seem to be alive. If Osama bin Laden didn't exist, the United States and Britain would have created him. Osama may be genuine, but there is evidence that he received money from the British MI6 as recently as 1996. Alright? He serves the purpose of those inciting a bogus class of civilizations. Yeah. In the domestic sphere, the persecution of Jews has become a cultural paradigm. Lately, women and gays of the Jews taught they're oppressed by heterosexuality, and homosexuality is normal. Millions of lives are being ruined. The Illuminati's hidden agenda is to destroy society's immune system, its ability to resist totalitarianism by attacking its red blood cell, the nuclear family, in conclusion. And what's an example of that? Black Lives Matter, which is funded by George Soros, a fake Jew. And what did they get caught trying to hide in their charter? About doing away with the nuclear family, with the man at the head. Yeah, they pulled that. Yeah. Got found out. But again, our people are so gone, they didn't see the connection there. Yeah. The ironic thing about all this, it started off, I do believe, with a so-called Jewish woman wondering where all the money was going. And people started paying more attention to it. Lo and behold, she was right, because a lot of it was funneled to what? The DNC. See? Yeah. They just used our plight as an excuse to get money. They propped George Floyd up there, who should never have been, and by all accounts, he's a piece of shit. Now, why wasn't, if they were serious, why was not someone like Breonna Taylor, or someone that actually was, if you can call it that, none of us are actually innocent, but we understand that was judgment. But my point is, someone who was not tarnished, like this guy they propped up to be a saint. When he was, oh man, the things you're hearing about him, I always said that. I said, well, why put this? But see, that's part of their plan too. They're saying there's no good Jakes. You know, we're letting outsiders dictate things to us that are not in our best interest. And that's letting you know we're still slaves. It doesn't matter how much money you make. Hell, people are, you know, if you're paying attention, you learn that. But what happened to Kanye West and Kyrie Irving? All right. Our people are, man, we got to get the fuck up out of here. That's what we're telling you. Hey, Isaiah 51:14, the captive exile hasteneth to be loose. That's the mindset we should be in, not how many luxury cars you can get, how many homes, because this shit gonna be done away with. You know, 2 Peter 3rd chapter, starting at verse 10. All right, all that shit gonna be melted away. It's gonna be burned up. It says in the domestic, no, I already read that. Let's see what I live out. The Illuminati's hidden agenda is to destroy society's immunity. You already read that. Nuclear family. In conclusion, covert aggression is the primary means by which the Illuminati enacts its long-term plan. Americans have been incited to become oppressors by a phony Muslim threat. Unaware of what's done in their name, Americans are now like Jews asking, why do they hate us? And I've always said this, and it should be common sense. You people out there that always think everything's a joke and you just like to do whatever is dictated to you. Study America's foreign policy. I repeat, study, go back, way back. Study America's foreign policy. These people like Iran and places like that, trust me, they have a reason. Now, having said that, what was the CIA before it was the CIA? During World War II, it was the Office of Strategic Services. All right. Supposedly, and I have to say this supposedly, its first mission when it became the CIA, I believe it was in 53 or 54, was what? Iran. Getting Mossadegh out of there, because all this guy wanted to do is nationalize the oil, which is his anyway, it's their resource. But no, the CIA couldn't have that. So they got him up out of there, and that's when they installed the Shah. And for roughly 25 years, there was all kinds of animosity that was building up, and which what? Culminated in the kidnapping, whatever have you, the hostage crisis of the late 70s there. All right. And we find out later that Reagan had brokered a deal, all right, in order to embarrass Carter. And this was, by and large, the reason Carter lost his re-election bid. Yeah. Yep. Sure did. These some wicked ass motherfuckers, man. We got to get the fuck up out of here. Alright. So that's the end of this article. Of course, I'll post a link and the links to the other articles I brought out. Yeah. These some... If they did all this, and the majority of these people have like some means of defense, we don't. So what do you think's coming our way? When it talks about Jacob's trouble, there's a reason. There's a reason Daniel 12:1 is there, people. We've been trying to tell you this. There's a reason it's there. Hey, so with that, I hope that those that view this are edified. Alright, like say we scripture everything through the scriptures, so you know what's going on pertaining to the scriptures, what time you're in. And having said that, time is very, very short. So until the next video, hey, shalom.